Welcome to this explainer. Today, we're unpacking Principle 4 of Maintenance Planning. We are going to completely pull back the curtain on why conventional corporate wisdom so often gets job estimating just entirely wrong, and how shifting your perspective on this can absolutely transform your labor productivity. All right, let's dive right in. Before we get into the heavy industrial data and the specific methodologies, I want you to think about something for a second. Have you ever planned a quick, 2-hour DIY car repair? You pop the hood on a Saturday morning, fully expecting to be totally wrapped up before lunch. But then, a bolt is rusted shut. A replacement part doesn't fit quite right, and somehow that super quick fix drags on straight through dinner.
It happens to the best of us. Sometimes you actually do finish before lunch, but sometimes you're out there working in the driveway until dark. And that right there proves a massive point. Maintenance is inherently unpredictable. It is absolutely not an assembly line where every single motion takes exactly 3 seconds. When you have different technicians performing different tasks on a massive variety of complex equipment, variance is just a fact of life.
So here is our roadmap for today. We're going to cover the maintenance planning dilemma, profiling the ideal planner, ditching the pigeonhole, the perfect estimate myth, and finally, the accuracy paradox.
Let's jump straight into Section 1, the Maintenance Planning Dilemma, and why standard rules just don't apply here. Companies constantly struggle with figuring out who should actually be planning the work and how they should go about doing it. The choices usually range from using relatively low-paid clerical staff all the way up to highly paid engineers. But Principle 4 gives us a crystal-clear mandate. It tells us that estimates are easiest and actually most accurate when planners are accomplished craftspersons relying on their own personal skill and experience. It dictates that a plant needs to choose from among its absolute best craftspersons to be planners. They need excellent craft skills, organizational data skills, and communication people skills. It's not just about looking up numbers in a database. It's about applying hard-earned, real-world field knowledge. Moving right along to Section 2, profiling the ideal planner. Let's talk about that 17-to-1 ROI. 17. Just let that number sink in for a second. It's staggering, really, but it represents the sheer profitability of employing proactive planning. A single planner is literally worth 17 people in terms of the productivity boost they provide to your workforce. Because of this massive 17-to-1 return on investment, it is totally economically feasible, and frankly, it's imperative to hire the absolute best personnel you can find for this role. A lot of times, companies try to pinch pennies by using clerks or freshly graduated engineers for this job. But here's the catch. They just lack the deep experience needed to scope jobs properly. Field technicians instantly cast doubt on their plans, and honestly, it undermines management's overall support of the whole system. On the flip side, a master craftsman identifies the correct job scope based on actual past success. When they look at a historical file, they know intuitively if a part used last time was a weird 1-in-a-million fix, or if it's the standard part they're going to need for all future jobs. That context, it is completely irreplaceable. And because a single planner is dictating requirements to all the field technicians, and they have to be highly skilled, many smart companies rightfully pay them at or above the first-line supervisor level. You absolutely do not want to lose your top technical talent back to the tools simply because the pay scale is broken. Plus, planners have to deal with crew supervisors at a peer level, so establishing that organizational respect and compensation parity is vital for the whole system to run smoothly. All right, Section 3, ditching the pigeonhole. It's time to move away from rigid tables. So we've got our master craftsperson in the planner seat. How should they actually estimate time? Well, a huge corporate mistake is relying on something called pigeonholing, which is also known as slotting. This is where planners waste immense amounts of time digging through complex tables to find generic time standards. Like, say a planner needs to rebuild a 25-gallon-per-minute pump. They might look at a rigid chart for pump overhauls, find a 20-gallon standard and a 50-gallon standard, guess the difference, add a little time, and just slot it in. The problem? It is incredibly tedious, and the time consumed just finding and adjusting these tables completely destroys the planner's efficiency. Honestly, applying super strict industrial engineering standards to unique plant environments is mostly just a massive waste of a skilled planner's time. Industrial plants aren't highly standardized auto shops where thousands of identical cars roll through identical bays day in and day out. Plants use a huge variety of equipment and entirely unique spatial layouts. The time it takes to walk across a specific plant floor or work in a cramped specific corner simply doesn't exist in a generic engineering handbook. Which brings us to Section 4, the perfect estimate myth. We are prioritizing speed over perfection here. Instead of chasing this illusion of a perfect estimate, a planner needs to rely on quick judgment driven by their field experience. And there are two golden rules for this. Step 1. Always assume a capable, good technician is doing the work without any unusual problems. Step 2, and this is crucial, never pad the estimate for unexpected delays. If you pad the estimate with extra time just in case, and things actually go perfectly, the work will simply expand to fill the time. By leaving unanticipated delays out, the estimate remains a clean, true standard. If a delay does happen, the supervisor can accurately judge performance by factoring in that specific delay against a baseline estimate. Setting it up this way ensures maintenance proceeds as fast as possible under normal conditions. And that leads us perfectly into Section 5, the accuracy paradox, or how plus or minus 100% somehow magically equals plus or minus 10%.
So, here is the statistical paradox behind why these rapid, quick judgment estimates actually work in the real world. Experience shows us this crazy bell curve reality. For any given work order, the actual time taken might be off by plus or minus 100%. That means a job planned for 5 hours literally has an equal chance of taking 2 hours or taking 10 hours, simply because of the unpredictable nature of industrial maintenance. A rusted bolt, an unexpected internal crack, these things can derail everything. But does this make the quick estimate worthless? No way. Absolutely not. Because again, maintenance is not assembly line work. You're never going to get 0% variance. While individual jobs swing wildly, when you zoom out to look at the aggregate estimates over a week's worth of crew labor, a really cool statistical phenomenon occurs. Because just as many jobs run under the estimate as jobs that run over, those wild individual swings naturally cancel each other out. The result? The overall weekly estimate for the crew ends up being highly accurate, usually off by only around 10%. And this is the true objective of Principle 4. The goal was never perfect prediction of a single job. It's about assigning a full day's worth of work to boost overall labor productivity. Instead of handing a technician one 5-hour job on a 10-hour shift, the supervisor assigns a 5-hour, a 3-hour, and a 2-hour job. If the 5-hour job finishes early in 3 hours, but the 3-hour job runs long and takes 5 hours, guess what? The technician is still fully engaged for the day. Supervisors shouldn't panic over a single job running long. Instead, they need to use these quick, experience-based estimates to manage the long-term performance of the plant. As we wrap up this explainer, I want to leave you with a really critical question to ask about your own organization. Are your maintenance planners truly relying on hard-earned field expertise to drive quick work assignments? Or are they stuck acting as overpaid clerks, pigeonholing jobs into rigid tables that just slow everything down? To leverage that massive 17-to-1 power of Principle 4, you have to trust the judgment of master craftspersons. So are you ready to let go of the illusion of perfect estimates to achieve true aggregate accuracy?